I've been a fan of pro wrestling for over 20 years, and in that time, the WWE has had a lot of highs and a lot of lows. But currently, the WWE is really hot. And anytime I talk to casual fans, lapsed fans, or non wrestling fans, they always ask me, why are you enjoying wrestling right now? Today, I want to share with you guys the 5 main reasons why I'm loving the WWE currently. Welcome, everybody. My name is Eddie. This is the Wrestling with Eddie channel where we talk pro wrestling. We're going to be doing weekly reviews of Monday Night Raw, Friday Night Smackdown, and once a week I'm going to be doing these topic videos. Like today, we're talking about the 5 things I love about the WWE. Make sure to subscribe because next week I'm also going to be doing the 5 things I don't like about WWE currently, and then we're going to continue topics every single week. Comment down below what you guys think of the WWE currently, and of course give this video a thumbs up because for some reason that helps the YouTube algorithm. Now, let me share with you guys why I'm loving WWE right now. The first thing, and this is probably the one thing that everyone who's watching WWE currently can agree on, it's the storytelling. They are extremely focused on long-term storytelling right now, and though it does make that every single week some of the stories are a little slower than they should be, at the end of every storyline, when you look at all of it, the payoff for almost every show, every storyline has been incredible. You can see Cody Rhodes is finished the storyline. You can see the Judgment Day here, the slow turn for Damian Priest, Gunther's rising, everything, the bloodline, every single storyline over the long term at the end has been getting exceptional payoff. Of course, there's going to be some stumbles along the way, but that doesn't take away from the final product of every storyline just being an incredible ride. Though it is predictable, that doesn't mean it's bad. If anything, the fact that we know where it's going and we get what we want just adds to how great the shows are right now. On top of the excellent storytelling that we are getting and the long-term payoff of it all, one of the really cool things about storytelling right now in the WWE is the fact that they're mixing and intertwining a lot of the stories. If you go back and watch old Monday Night Raw, Friday Night Smackdown, or any of the shows, one of the weird things that you would always notice is that every segment felt like its own thing. No one interacted with another person. If 2 wrestlers were in a rivalry, everything else within the world of WWE didn't really connect to it. It's as if everyone pretended nothing else was happening outside of their one rival, and it felt a little detached from the world. Now you watch it and everything connects. Even though a CM Punk and a Drew McIntyre are in a completely huge rivalry, they are still interacting with a Gunther or a Randy Orton on a weekly basis because they want to get involved with that World Heavyweight title. The same way that you can see something like an Andrade trying to fight off a Santos Escobar to get a championship match against LA Knight, Carmelo and Andrade still have their rivalry. Everything is connecting. It is a really fun way to see that even though there's one storyline happening, that doesn't mean the rest of the show isn't happening around them. So everything feels like you kind of have to watch the whole show to see what is going to connect to what. And it's just making everything so good as well. So my number 1 was storytelling. My number 2 is the in-ring wrestling. As important as it is to have great storytelling, you need the wrestling to back it up. And I'm happy to report that not only are all the pay-per-views, PLE's matches, the weekly shows of Raw and Smackdown are also getting some excellent matches every single week. And I don't follow NXT every single week, but I am hearing good things about what's happening in the ring there too. Ever since they cut down on the amount of matches on every single PLE, now we're getting 5 to 7 matches on every show. It is giving every match a lot more time to breathe, and that means that we're not really getting as many less than 2-minute matches, these squash matches. We're getting a lot more quality on every single show. Yes, they're predictable, but it doesn't take away from how great the in-ring work is. Look back at a Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, they've had excellent matches. You look back at Damian Priest, while he has botched a couple spots, he's been putting on some excellent matches there too. Seth Rollins is always on top, and then you even go back down to the mid-card there, and you've got Andrade and Carmelo Hayes absolutely killing it on SmackDown. LA Knight personally impressing me. I've already talked about how he wasn't my favorite, but in the ring, he's starting to build up some steam in my opinion. Then you've got Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, Sami Zayn, Sheamus putting on banger after banger every single week. And then you get PLE quality matches on the shows as well, like we had the Street Profits and DIY just recently on SmackDown, or the Wyatt Six's debut that felt like it should have been on the PLE, but it was on Raw and it was just as good, or the Tag Team Championship match between DIY and Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They are jam-packing every single show with matches that aren't necessarily must watch, but they are still incredibly good every single week. And trust me, if you guys were watching Raw or SmackDown before, this is on a whole other level. You guys gotta give it a shot now to see how good the shows are currently, especially when you compare it to the old stuff. My number 3 favorite thing about the WWE right now is gonna sound really silly to people who do not watch wrestling. But for those of you guys who've been following the WWE for years, you're gonna understand exactly what I mean by this, and it's listening to its fans. So for those of you guys who don't know, the WWE used to be run by some crazy maniac who every single week would listen to what the crowd were cheering for, which wrestler they like, what matches they wanted to see, and made sure we would never get that on the product itself. I know it sounds weird, but that's the world we lived in. Now when you watch the WWE, you can tell that the most important thing to them, it's the fans' reaction. If you're going to cheer Rhea Ripley, we're going to turn her face. You're going to be cheering this person, we're going to give them a run. You get to really interact and feel like your voices are being heard as a wrestling fan, and it just makes everyone better. The show is better, the crowd is happy, the product wins. I think the biggest example we can have with that was the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns main event at WrestleMania, where they had to pivot from their first idea of The Rock and Roman Reigns, which I know a lot of people are going to say they should have never bothered with that storyline to begin with, but I still think that it's a positive and a big win to see that they did listen to the crowd and change it. You go back a couple years, that would have probably never happened. We would have gotten The Rock versus Roman Reigns, whether we liked it or not. My number 4 is honestly another big one in my opinion, and it's the natural heel and face reactions for the wrestlers. What I mean by that is pretty simple. If you go back and watch wrestling for the last 15 years, from 2002, let's say, all the way up, I'd say until 2017, 2018, it was a really common practice to cheer the heels and boo the baby faces as a fan. The reason why is because the heels were always cooler than the baby faces, and the baby faces were so lame, you didn't really want to cheer them. Now, for whatever reason, every baby face, you want to cheer them and you want to boo the heels. The reaction from the crowd matches the characters, and I think that that's a huge positive for the WWE right now, that they have understood finally how to make good baby faces, how to make good heels, and make sure that the crowd are reacting accordingly. You see a Dirty Dom, I am willing to bet money that Dirty Dom 10 years ago would be cheered every single week, but now they've made it work that we love booing him and he is a heel. Look at the top faces. A Cody Rhodes getting the exact reaction the WWE want him to get every single week. Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest now. A lot of the people are getting the reaction that they want. And the reason for that is because they have finally understood how to create the perfect face and the perfect heel, and they're letting everything roll with it, and it feels natural. On top of that, it makes the show so much more fun that all the faces will work together and all the heels will work together, or they'll fight within each other. They are using the history of all these characters, and they're not pretending that it's a one-person show like it was with the John Cena era, but a Cody Rhodes now is friends with a lot of the wrestlers, so why not have them help him the same way he will help them? Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, all these people work together to fight off against the heels. It makes that Avengers team up really, really cool that we never really got before, and it just never gets old to see all the faces work together or to see all the heels, but they're still keeping those interactions limited enough that when it does happen, it feels really special. And the last thing that I want to talk about why I love the WWE currently is a bit of a weird one. This is a very specific one to me, but hopefully it's going to speak to a couple people who are going to be willing to give the show a shot. And it's the fact that the show is still casual friendly without being embarrassing. So what I mean by that, I will be one of the first ones to admit that when I was a pro wrestling fan growing up, I never really went out there and talked about it much. It was very much a personal hobby because it was always a little bit weird to talk about being a fan of wrestling around people. They would kind of make jokes that I just didn't want to deal with. But now, the WWE is so good, but it is still easy for casual peoples to watch, whether they're brand new fans or they're people who only watch the PLEs and don't follow every single week. The promo packages, the commentators, they're able to keep you up with what's going on while also explaining the rules of what's happening, and the shows are simple enough that anyone who's new can really get hooked, while also making sure that everything that's happening on the show isn't wrestling fan exclusive. A person who has never watched pro wrestling before can sit down, see something, and interact with it and feel something, cheer a character, fall in love with a character, whether it be from the presentation, the music, the character work, their personality. They've really been able to make it work. The reason it works for me is because every single time I watch PLEs, I never watch them by myself. I'm always in a group of minimum 10 people. We have a group of about 7 or 8 of us who are all pro wrestling fans who all meet up every single PLE to watch the WWE shows, and every single one of us always bring our plus ones, our wives, spouse, girlfriends, whatever, or friends who have never watched wrestling just to try and get them integrated into the show. And one of the great things is that every single time someone comes in, they leave having loved the show almost as much as we did because there's enough there that they're able to understand. They find a favorite wrestler. They find a favorite character. They find someone they hate so much that they want to watch again to see them get destroyed. They're able to follow the stories because of all the promo packages. And of course, it's not overwhelming. I know that this is a huge negative for people on the internet right now, how there's too much downtime between matches on PLEs. But when you're in a big group, those downtimes are excellent. You watch one match for 10-15 minutes, and then we all get 10 minutes to just chat and talk about what just happened. And for us hardcore fans to kind of explain to our casual fans what's the next storyline, what's about to happen, and get them ready for the entrances. It feels like it's a good pacing, even though not everyone who's watching by themselves are going to agree because they want to just go for the next match. That I can understand. But as someone who loves watching wrestling in a big group situation, casual friendly is important. And those are the 5 main reasons why I love the WWE currently. I'd love to know what you guys think. Are you liking the shows right now? Is there something you don't like? Tell me everything. Comment down below everything. And of course, subscribe because next week I'm going to do my 5 least favorite things about the WWE currently. And I might do this every 6 months to a year just to see if my feelings have changed, right? Maybe I'm not liking the storylines as much. Maybe something else is really talking to me more. So I might just update this video every 6 months to a year-ish. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know. Take care. Bye-bye.